Good, I think I'm live again. Yeah, welcome to my new episode from my live streams. Today I want to create this creature here, and actually I have no idea what the name of the artist is. So please, when you know the name of the artist, please tell me. I will write it down on the um, description of the VOD. Anyway, I like this piece a lot because it's actually I love every piece of this series. It's a series of artworks because it's very desaturated and it's yeah, it's holding back it's not exaggerated like the colors are very dimmed down. I like it a lot like this. It looks a bit like Demon Souls also. Um, anyway, thank you for participating on the voting for this piece, and I hope you enjoy. So as always, oh, by the way, the um, one challenge will be to create the anatomy of this body uh, and to correct it because it's in detail it's not actually correct anatomy, um, and I have to correct here and there, but I want to keep as much as possible from the original idea that it's very amorphic body, and maybe here and there the anatomy like changes because it's a creature, it's from another world, maybe it has some other anatomical features. Okay, let me start with the head, like always, but this time without eyes. So I think I will separate the jaw area and the upper area of the head, not at the eye line. So I can open the jaw a bit easier than on my last. I think the I think Willem Dafoe I made without without separation and couldn't open the mouth properly. Anyway, but I still use this method here. And yeah, place some geometry. We don't need a nose for him, but we need these horns, and I think I create them separately from um, from tubes, curved tubes. And now I take my uh, move brush and create this this very flat head. For those who are joining my uh, stream and my chat, welcome, and don't hesitate to ask questions. Doesn't matter what you want to know. Just ask if you want. And like always, I'm just creating these placeholders or like landmarks for the character first. I mean, for the head, for the face. Blocking. And then when I'm satisfied with my uh, like base mesh, I'm going further and placed it. Let me load another view. It's of course not easy to place the head on a piece like this. I mean, with very few landmarks, like eyes are missing. The only landmarks I have is the mouth and the ears, maybe the nose, but that's it. So I'm placing it like this and work from this perspective and watch later if this works or not. Zotix is on the stream. And yeah, like I said, you can ask whatever you want. I hope I can answer it, your questions. And I really like the connection with you guys. I really enjoy. In the past, I was worried about if I can do it or not. I mean, live streaming, but actually, I enjoy it a lot, even more than just recording time-lapse videos. Because, of course, a time-lapse video is not telling a lot. It's showing a lot, but it's not telling a lot. So many people are a bit confused when I write under my um, time-lapse time-lapse videos that it's a tutorial. Many people are like, oh, this is not a tutorial, it's just a time-lapse video, but it's not true. First of all, you can learn from a time-lapse video a lot. I learned in the past, when I was a student, a lot from time-lapse videos. I was pausing them and rewatching 100 times because when I was a student, there was no uh, free tutorials on YouTube. Nowadays, it's much more. Um, yeah, and I'm telling that it's a tutorial because I'm writing down like subtitles, what I'm doing, what I'm watching for on this character and this stuff. And I think to my opinion, it's a tutorial. Of course, it's not a spoken tutorial, like I'm not explaining with words, but I'm writing. And like I told already that I'm aiming to have some real tutorials, but my English is not good enough, I think, to explain things. I mean, technical things. It's still not good enough, but I'm working on it. On my English, I mean. The head is okay, like this. I like it. I like the proportions. And now I'm placing the neck next. And of course, he has a very cool dynamic in his pose, but I'm trying first. What I'm trying is to build the character, or here this creature, in a like neutral pose, and then posing. Okay, um, so the I first I match the proportions. Yeah, you're welcome. Your first visit on my live stream. Welcome. Um, yeah, I really enjoy new people on having new people on the stream on my channel. So please like and subscribe when you want, and of course comment if you like if you like my stuff. Please comment that you like it, and if you have any question or so, you can of course write in the comment section as well. This helps me a lot with the YouTube algorithm, of course. And of course, it's helping me to find out what you people are interested in. More uh, creatures, um, more realistic characters, or whatever. Whatever you are interested in. It helps me a lot to figure out. Yeah, that's it. You are telling it that time-lapse videos, I think they are um, they are very good for saving time and watching, like, for inspiration first. And second, like I said, I was watching when I think 15 years ago I was studying, and there was no free tutorials, and I was watching these time-lapse videos um, hundreds hundred times, and was analyzing how does the artist doing things, and just figuring out on my own. And it's actually a better learning experience when you figure out some kind of figure out yourself by just observing. I mean, just watching, and of course making your own. When you rely too much on a person who is telling you stuff, then maybe you lack some learning experience on your own. I mean, your own learning experience. It's like my opinion. Of course, I watch real tutorials as well on my own when I do not know the specific button. Then I of course watch a tutorial. What does this button do? Or when I saw something on a YouTube on a piece, like horns, how to do horns. Then I watch a tutorial maybe. But in general, um, mostly I'm not watching tutorials, and right now I'm not creating tutorials a lot. Yeah, not just learning from time-lapse videos, but as well a lot of inspiration. you're getting a lot of inspiration from time-lapse videos. When I'm creating my base mesh for the body, I'm watching, of course, for the proportions already, but mostly I get proportions from the artwork, because like on creatures, on superheroes and this stuff, the proportions are mostly not correct, not realistic. They are in some kind of, they have some relations to each other. Of course, the upper arm is the same length like the lower arm and this stuff. Um, this is something you have to focus on, but most of these creatures have like amorphic anatomy anyway, and that's why uh, you can, in the first steps here, you can some kind of ignore the realistic proportions. Of course, when you have a lot of experience, when you have no experience at all, then I really recommend to learn anatomy first. And Sotix, when we are just two of us, please tell me, are you an artist or are you just interested in how did you came up with my stream? I mean, how did you find it? These lines here, by the way, these lines are helping me to figure out the full proportion stuff, the proportions, where to put the elbow, where to put the hand rest and this stuff. So learn proportions. They these help you a lot. Where to put the joints on a normal person, I mean. Of course, when you have something special, I don't know, like a werewolf or so, maybe proportions should be different. In this stage, you can go back to the face again, and like I did on my spawn sculpt last time, I go to the face, like I do I do the proportions, and I have some kind of a base mesh here, and I go back and define some things more here on the head, and then I define my I define my detail level of details by creating the head and the face. I take this character again because he has teeth. I don't want to build the teeth on my own because it takes some time to create them. And as an artist, you want to save as much time as you can. So don't spend too much time on teeth, on hands, feet, and this stuff. And of course, you can use this body here for creating your characters. It's absolutely okay. I do it a lot. I use this character here a lot for my creations. It's just I'm doing this workflow just for practicing and just for showing you how you can build up your own like base mesh and practice. Just for practice, I'm using this technique here. Mhm. Yeah, thank you for your subscription. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, and I'm glad you like my pieces, my creations. Welcome to maybe I will create someday some kind of community. Right now I'm not into creating a community because I have no time to yeah, to spend on Discord to manage the Discord server and this stuff. Okay, and now I'm merging these horns with the upper head like this. And in this stage, you do not have to keep attention. You do not have to um, how it's called. Yeah, like keep attention to detail or so, or to correct um, geometry. That's why I love to create my characters. Actually, I think I use 95% ZBrush for creating the whole character, and just some other like Blender for creating like I don't know, maybe somewhere is modeling needed. I use usual normal modeling on for my character, but for organic stuff, I always use just uh, ZBrush. I'm adding some volumes and forms that I see on the character to have a better like orientation on the face. Mhm. Yeah, teeth creation is a good exercise actually uh, for sculpting in general to handle the program. So when you start with little things like teeth, um, you learn a lot already. So don't spend too much time uh, on complex things like a full head or full body. Can be frustrating, of course. Start small and work your way up. And of course, like always in the beginning, it looks a bit strange. And I hope you already figured out that when you spend some time on your piece, it gets better and better. So don't frustrate at your first try. I see it a lot. Like my students are telling me that they are trying and trying and still have no uh, good results. And I always tell, try more. On some point, you will see an improvement. And yeah, you are absolutely welcome to watch my other videos, my other streams. I tell a lot about my process there already, so you can learn there uh, as well. And it helps me with the YouTube stuff when you watch all of my videos. I don't care right now, I'm not caring about the back of the head or the back of the body. I will focus more on the front. And now I have a good base. And now I'm placing my creation a little bit better. So I have some landmarks more. Sometimes you have to switch material for better view on the model. And I would like When you want, you can write it on the chat. I would like to know how much time you spend on your anatomy and character creations and studies. I'm curious to know how much time you spend on your studies. And take your time. It's no rush. You do not need to rush, or do not need to think that studios are just paying you when you are working fast. A studio actually wants first what they want is a good result, and you do not need to sculpt or model fast like speed sculpting or so. Speed sculpting is something that is actually just working on YouTube. It's just for demonstrating how fast some people are doing stuff, but it's actually not necessary. Of course, you have to be able to create a character in a certain time, but it's of course yeah, a matter of like communication between you and the studio, how long you get and how long you need, how much time you get and how much time you need for a character. But don't think that you need that you just have some days or so for one character. It depends, of course, on the character itself. It's not always the same amount of time you get and you need for a character. Okay, I'm placing some neck muscles. And another person was on the stream. Of course, I cannot read the name. I think it's, I don't know. Is it in? Actually, I have no idea in what kind of language your name is. But you're welcome to the stream too. So when you want to ask something, please write in English, uh, so I can read it. Some nostrils here. Just I place them as an orientation. So a very rough sketch first. So do your sketching first, roughly rough but correct. I mean correct that everything is there, what you need for this character, like proportions and major lines. Of course, my streams are aiming more for um, like um, yeah, for experienced people who are already have experience in character uh, character creation or stream or sculpting. But as a beginner, you can of course learn a lot. Still can learn a lot. I separate the teeth. And right now I'm just working on like the feeling of the character. Um, it's not detailing or so, just a feel if this can work or not. And of course, don't rush this process at all. Take your time. I think the horns are not symmetric, so later maybe and with uh, either the horns are here in perspective or they are not symmetric. So it's your decision as an artist how you do this. I think you can create a little bit of asymmetry by doing the or by creating the horns asymmetric. You're writing in Russian, I think. I cannot read it, unfortunately. Please write in English. I like to um, place the pectoralis as in sphere, as a separate object. It gives me a lot of control over the full chest here, chest area. And same thing. It means cool. Okay. Thanks. And I'm placing the back muscles here, lateral muscles, as a separate to have more control over the armpit because he is raising his arm and you have to have control over the armpit. It's easier to do it this way. I know it looks strange right now, but it makes sense later. There's someone writing in Chinese or so. Please use English. I cannot read your comment. Here you can, of course, use the pose already if you want. And of course, the face and head is not finished yet. I think it's still a little bit too narrow. think it should be like more like this. It's of course not easy to get it right on a monster, on a creature. I like to pose my character pretty early in the process. Of course, it's not usual to pose a character so much early in the process, but I enjoy the process, like creating these asymmetric um, asymmetric muscles. I think his hip is some kind of facing us, so I'm rotating it towards the camera. Oh, I hit something wrong there. And yeah, of course, for creating characters like this, you have to be able to move forward and back like in pose, and then recreate the pose in on some point, maybe if it's needed. So you have to be able to do it. And of course, on a monster or creature like this, you can get a little bit more crazy with stuff. The lateral muscles are. Oh, ZBrush crashed again. I don't know why it's crashing so much. I think I had a crash like um on my last, or when I was creating this spider character. Don't forget to save your progress. Mm. Okay, I have no pectoralis yet. Anyway, it doesn't matter actually. Or let me create it again. Like this and like this. Sara Vada. I hope I get your names correct. Thank you, you guys who are on the stream right now. Thank you. Okay, I'm trying again. Let me. I know it looks like a mess here on my creation, but trust the process. Will get better. Yeah, like I said, you don't fear to make something like to damage something on the anatomy, because you have to be able to recreate the anatomy in post when you want when you are really serious with getting into the industry and the stuff, like for printing models or so, especially for printing models, because you have to be able to create this pose and to work from the pose further. So don't rely too much on a like um, on a piece that stands upright. Now I take the arms. By the way, this is the reason why I'm um, telling my students to learn 2D drawing as well. So you have to be able to draw and to sculpt the character in post. It's more this process is more like painting and less like sculpt or less like technical modeling. So when you are just into techniques, you will have, on some point, you will have a problem because it's actually technique is not, yeah, like you do not need a lot of techniques to do this stuff here. Most important thing is can you do it in post? And do you know where the muscles and the forms are belong? And having these uh, separate muscles here is a huge opportunity or a huge like advantage to you can push and pull them around, and when you know where to pull them or where to put them, then you have a great advantage to do it right. The chest should come out more. The this whole process is of course always just an approximation of the character here. Um, so it's always like I try to match the original artwork and to match my 3D creation. So it's always like back and forth um, until you reach a status where you are more satisfied. Mm, there. So here is not hugely built, and you have to keep this in mind to not create every character like Hulk. It's not necessary to do it like this. So for a character like this, less is more. I use these pre-built hands and feet to save some time. When you want, I talked about last time I was talking about the games industry, and if you want, you can, of course, share your um, opinion on this topic, like what's going on in the games industry, and you can tell me if this affects you in any way, like when you are an artist or when you are learning to be an artist. Is this affecting you in your learning? Or do you say like, oh no, I'm not affected by this situation at all? I would like to know your opinion on this topic, because actually, not many of you are uh, on the chat. So I have something to talk, or I need something to talk about, to not just work. But I told my opinion on this last time, that I think that we as players can make a change. I think we should um, like let me translate. Yeah, of course. Yeah, we have to be careful what we do. Like, I told that many people are um, criticizing the industry too much. So yeah, many like YouTubers are criticizing the industry, to my opinion, too much. And of course, the industry doesn't take risks because they get a lot of criticism from players. And I think it's a little bit like unfair for the industry. Like, we as players want games that, or want studios who are taking risks, but we as players are not taking risks to play the games, or I mean to buy games and play them. So yeah, let me know what your opinion on this is, because actually, of course, as artists, we are um, affected by this situation. I mean, the situation that a lot of layoffs are happening in the game industry and in this environment, the art environment. so far as a base mesh, it's okay. Of course, a lot of these um, um, yeah, the reasons for this situation in the game industry is are different. I mean, from studio to studio, but I think that many studios are like, okay, there is AI and we try it out, and we don't need any artists right now. And of course, there are so many critics regarding the games nowadays. I mean, when a game, and this is something that's happening like from our side, from the gamer side, is when a game is not perfect, then we are criticizing a lot. And many artists get these like emails with how it's called, yeah, death threats, um, and it's absolutely not correct. I mean, not like from the gaming gamers themselves, from fans or whatever. Mhm. Yeah, welcome to everybody. Welcome to the stream. Uh, you see, the chat is not very active right now, so when you want to know something, please let me know in the chat, or just talk, just say something with or a topic you want to talk about, or I should talk about. And yeah, I hope I can answer your questions or say something about your topic. And Matt's Loth Hobbies is in the stream, and you wrote something. Let me read through because it's a text. Uh, yeah, your question is a bit more complex. I tried to summarize it first, what you wrote. So you're trying to get your model as close as possible to the artwork, and you have some problems with it to match to some kind of like matching the artwork and let the your creation could look good. So in some kind of like this. So like I do here, matching the artwork and staying in proportion and let the creation, the 3D model, still look good. This is I hope I could summarize your text correctly. So yeah, like I always say, to my opinion, it's very important to exactly. Okay, thank you. Yeah, to my opinion, it's some kind of mixture. I try to match the artwork as good as I can, like like here, but it's always not always possible. But I always like look like what this figurine is doing. Like he is facing towards this direction. His chest is like out. His abs are stretched, and his hips are facing us. So he has this S curve, and this is something what I want to match here. Okay, this S curve here. This is the most primary like pose, like action, how it's called in the basics, the line of action. Okay, I draw like a line of action here. What is the main action here on this character? It's this pose there. Okay, he is pointing his chest up, watching in this direction and facing the hip towards the camera. This is the main pose, what I want to match here. Of course, it's not possible to match it like absolutely correct or absolutely exact, but I do it as close as I can, and then I use my anatomy knowledge further and pose it like, okay, when he is raising his chest up, what does happen with his spine, for example? Okay, when he stretches his abs, what does happen with the rib cage and all of this stuff? You have to be able to recreate it and yeah, and mix some kind of and bring some kind of depth and yeah, three dimensionality to this character here. Of course, it's not always working like you saw on the hands. When I place this hand and this hand, they are both like the same size, but on the artwork, this hand is probably a little bit bigger. So I need to find a way to match the artwork, but still stay in like correct proportions. Because I cannot create one hand bigger than the other one. When I create a like when I reverse engineer this thing to a animation character, you can do it. Then the hands should be like same size. Just as an example, okay? So the pose should work in 3 dimensions and match this character here in this view. Okay, so I hope I could answer your question. It's a good question, but it's not easy to answer. Yeah, like I summarize my answer, or I try to summarize it. Match the 2D perspective as good as possible, and make the 3D model from every other angle, like believable or yeah, workable. So it's in it has some like how it's called. Let me. Sometimes I forget in the in while talking. Um, I forget some words. Yeah, but yeah, let me know if this answers your question. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, like I said, match first, or it's a combination between both. That's why we are like more we 3D artists are more designers because we are designing the pose from 2D to 3D. We are translating the pose from or the artwork to 3 dimensions, to the third dimension. So it makes sense and has some, I forgot this word, balance, of course. Yeah, your 3D character should be unbalanced. This is what I wanted to say. Yeah, when you find a proportional mistake or problem with the artwork, there are two things you can do about it. First thing, when you are in the studio and you have uh, when you have access to the concept artist, then you can ask, of course, is it like is it really necessary to create this? Let me show you here. Uh, Let me show you here on the this muscle here doesn't make actually sense because it's actually not there. This muscle is like not correct here, but it's a creature, it's a monster. So you can ask your concept artist, do you want this particular muscle here? Okay, because it makes no sense. Of course, a 2D artist is just drawing and he is maybe not paying attention to uh, is it possible or is it buildable or is it animatable or whatever. And you as 3D artist, you are like the connection, the um, technical connection between 2D and the final product, like a game or so. Uh, and you can ask. If you cannot ask your the artwork designer, um, then you have to decide it on your own. And I would always decide like towards like a believable, realistic anatomy. Like on ears, I give this feedback a lot to my students when they create ears that are stylized, but they are yeah like more like just just around C shape or so. Um, and I always tell like um, you do not need to invent something that it's not there. Just create when you are not sure how it should look. Then you can of course create it more realistic. And when your art director says like, oh, the ear is too realistic, then you can say like, okay, I didn't have any information on the artwork. That's why I decided to create it more realistic. Okay, so design and art is always decision making. And yeah, you have to decide for the character or your studio or whatever, what is the best way. And of course, watch creations of other artists, how they create them, these things. Like when you are watching movies or like Arcane, it's super stylized, but the ears of the characters or fingers or whatever details of the characters are realistic, even if if they have some like unrealistic proportions. The single parts like mouth, nose, ears, and this stuff are more realistic. So you always can say like, yeah, I was creating it more realistic to ground it in a believable world. Or you can say, okay, then give me an artwork which shows how the ear should be, because I have no idea. I'm not a designer. Or I'm not an artist. I'm a designer, and I will design it like you want. So you can tell it in your art director to give you more information about this stuff. Okay. Some people wrote something. Let me see. Oh, Nishant Jain is asking how to enter the gaming industry, and it's actually one of the most um, difficult questions I got so far, because it's let me because it's because I cannot tell you with one like with one sentence or with one word, but I try. So first, what you do is um, learn, learn a lot, because gaming industry will not teach you. This is the first thing. What I learned about gaming industry, or actually the 3D industry in general. I was in a studio where I learned a lot, but I needed to yeah, to have a education in 3D. So I was in art school, 3D art school, and yeah, learn a lot. And when you actually want to enter the game industry and develop a good portfolio and get someone, or I mean get some education. I know there are many people telling you on YouTube you do not need a um, like a degree or so. I don't know. I think you need a degree. I mean, you do not need the paper. I mean the you need the education that you get from a college or whatever. You do not need the paper itself, but you need the yeah, this education. And I tell you why, uh, or I hope I can tell you why. Um, it's because when you go to a college or art school, depends of course what you have in your country. Then you learn, especially from a tutor like me, you learn to focus on the product creation, because what I do here or what you do in gaming industry is you create your product. Your studio is working for 2 or 5 years on a product. So when you learn when you are self-taught, you are missing like focus. Okay. you are not product oriented. You are not learning product oriented. You are just doing like, oh, I have this monster. I do it like, I don't know. I do it like I want, and blah blah blah, and then tomorrow I create another monster and this stuff, and I never finish my piece or whatever. This is not product oriented working. So you have to learn, first thing you have to learn basics, and then product oriented working. And this whole like 3D stuff and technical stuff is actually something less important than I think. So to my students, I always tell like, learn the basics first. Even if you are a 3D artist or want to be a 3D artist, learn 2D drawing, because 2D drawing is faster to do. You can do it when you are in the subway, on the bus, or whatever. Just study stuff like posing, like drawing poses, and anatomy and this stuff. Yeah, and your question was how to enter the gaming industry, and it's actually one of the hardest things to do, I experience. Um, yeah, and you should create a portfolio, and you should get education, to my opinion. Of course, education is very expensive, and it's not possible everywhere. But when it's possible in your country, then get education. It's one of the most important things. Actually, the gaming industry is the only industry, or like on YouTube is the only place where I heard something like, oh, you do not need a degree from a school, from a college, from whatever. Just learn from YouTube. There is so much know-how. Yeah, sure. But you have to be able to connect or combine these tutorials, these like desert of tutorials, this jungle of tutorials. You have to combine them into a final product, and it's so hard to do that, yeah, most beginner artists are absolutely confused and demoralized from it. And people who get education are the ones who get the job, actually. So there is actually no way around education, and maybe paying for education. I heard a very good phrase about education and like getting a job, but I forgot the exact phrase. But it was from a guy I'm watching right now on YouTube, and he is teaching sales, marketing, and this stuff. And he tells like only educated people are the ones who are actually successful in their job, or in the business in general. You see, I created a biceps or an arm for him, but it's actually not matching the artwork. So I just created some landmarks on the arm, and now I'm uh, And now I have to match this kind of, like I said, it's not correct actually, anatomical, and I would create it more um, correctly or more um, natural, but still some kind of, he has a too big arm actually, so I have to shrink it down a little bit. So I hope I'm not demoralizing you as a beginner. When you want to know more about yeah, education and beginner, or like guidance from me as a tutor or as a coach, please visit my Patreon there. I I teach, I try to teach basics. Of course, I'm working on my own career at the side, of course, and I'm working as a freelancer at the side. So I try to um, take as much time for you as I can to teach you or to advise you towards a portfolio. And yeah, so I cannot guarantee that you are getting a job from my uh, from my teaching, but I can guarantee that you will learn to be a artist. So yeah, if you want, you can try it out. And yeah, like I said, learn basics, learn how to create a portfolio and this stuff. And I can, of course, on my Patreon, I'm reviewing portfolios, and I'm giving uh yeah, like feedbacks on portfolios and how to create a portfolio in general. So not just a one video I'm watching and creating with you your own portfolio. Um, Michael G is asking about the background here. It's actually one of the most asked questions on my channel. How I get my reference in the background. And I use this tool here on draw, this tool down there, this here. I'm loading here the image, but on the, I think the live stream I made with this sci-fi soldier, I was telling more about this, so please have a look there if you want like a little tutorial about this feature. And when you are right now, I'm creating just from my memory the anatomy. When you want uh, to create the anatomy a little bit like more precise, more realistic, or whatever, I really recommend to have a book with anatomy, an anatomy book, and which tells you um, where is what kind of um, muscle, and what does this muscle do when you like bend your arm like this. Of course, his arm is very, very bent. Like this arm is actually not bent this way. So I want here as well, I want to create a mixture between the 2D artwork and my 3D character, which is, yeah, making more sense. Like I want this dynamic, of course, and I bend the arm as much as I can until it like breaks the immersion that this is a real creature. Or yeah, a living thing that is that can bend his arm like this. So yeah, still not in detail here. It's a long process actually. So he has a wider hip, I think. So a very narrow waist. Like I said, I'm not watching the back right now. Actually, this 2D image tells you a lot about the perspective. Maybe more than you think about, because, and I try to explain when I want to match the perspective here, for example, the legs, I'm watching for this the hip, the knee, and the ankle here, and then when I let me do it like this. When I'm like more here, okay, so when he is lifting his leg to wide to the front, then I see it immediately on the ankle that it's not actually in three dimensions, like from the side. I see that this ankle should be behind the other foot. Okay, so this is the first thing I notice. This foot is in front and this foot is behind. So this is this first thing I have to match, like this point, and this point. Okay, and that's why when the proportions are correctly or correct, then I see immediately that his upper leg here cannot be bent like this. Okay, so I hope this helps you a little bit to match your perspective. And yeah, to match your perspective and to work on your character a bit easier. So I know it's not easy to match the perspective. And like when I have my pose like this, and his um this muscle here is like back here, then his hip should be placed more here. I mean the hip joint there. Okay, so this is how you match this 2D image actually on a 3D character. You have to have some practice, of course. It's not easy to do, but I do it like this actually, and there is no magic behind it. Uh, when you have a character like with clothing, you do not need to be super precise underneath, like with this muscularity here, but the volume should be some kind of correct. And when you want to print this thing, then please watch it from every angle if this works for you. I mean, imagine if you have this character on your desk and you're watching this um, like this. Does it match, or do you like it? Does it match your expectations, or is it too stiff, like from one angle? Mostly it's like from the side. From the front, it's super like it's flowing and it's very dynamic, and from the side, it's very stiff. So you have to watch this, keep this in mind, to yeah, change it when you need it, or combine it with some other clothing that is like balancing this stiffness and create some flow here from the side as well. So this is what I always try to do, not just matching it from the front or like from this perspective. I always try to balance it like can this character really stand like this or not? Or does it look good when I have it like a toy on my desk, like this view here? Is it appealing or not? But I still work on this pose. I do not change it too much. And yeah, like I said, the process is maybe sometimes slow, but I like it more precise. It's like working with clay or with a 2D when you are drawing a character, like for a comic book in pose and this stuff. Then you want you want it to be as good as possible, and you take your time for this. And I do the same thing here. Of course, I'm talking and this stuff and do not focus too much on the creation. Of course, when you focus 100% on the character, then you can create it much quicker. But when you want to explain something, of course, you need some time for this as well. And perspective on this thing, on this cloth piece, uh, as an example too, you see the whole from from this perspective, okay, from this. Like when you have a cylinder, you see the hole there. So you have to match your character first and then rotate the cylinder until it matches your perspective. Some kind like this. And I'm not caring too much about like technical stuff. I'm right now I'm just caring about does it look good or not. um, Amit Saad is asking how many years do you need, or do you need to study, or I think you mean studying or practicing until your artwork or your 3D piece looks exact like the artwork. Um, Actually, it's a ongoing process. You are never finished studying. even if you have super like a lot of experience and a lot of spent a lot of time on your development, you always are learning, and it's an ongoing process of learning and trying out and learning again. Maybe new you learn new like techniques, or you develop actually a new like mm, you see things in a new way, in some kind of. So it's happening to me, of course, a lot, that when I create this character right now, I'm learning something that I can implement next time. So you are always learning, and you are like always developing a new skill. But I think you should have at least, when you are a super beginner, you should have at least an education, like I already told, in art, and then practice. I don't know. I think at least 3 or 5 years until you reach like a good level where you can recreate this figurine here. It depends, of course, in what kind of um, industry you want to work, or if you want to work at all, or maybe you are fine in your work, like you're doing right now, and you are just a hobby artist. Um, Maybe you do not care about 3D um, industry when you are not working. I mean, when you are not working on your portfolio and this stuff, then you can practice more, and then you can maybe develop your skill set a little bit faster. But I think at least 3 or 5 years or so you should spend with learning and improving. But of course, doesn't mean that you are not allowed to apply to a job when you are like not this far into learning. I mean, after your education, after 2 or 3 years, of course you can apply to a job and improve through your job. Okay, I'm creating these layers of clothing for more dynamic. Like I said, I want to use them to balance my character a little bit more in this side view. And let me see how I can do it, how it works actually, or if it works like I want. Like you see when you create it like this, it's very stiff from the side. So you have to balance it out. Like I don't know, like this. So here you have to be creative. And maybe this is the thing you have to spend a lot of time on to balance the character. So it works from every angle. I duplicate the legs and build the trousers here on top. And I use this uh, inflate brush for it. I place them just as a placeholder right now. I want to have a um yeah like a full view on the character first. or full impression of the character. And I'm creating uh some anatomy on one leg just to watch what kind of direction it can go, and then I can copy the right leg to the left leg. Uh, and like always, I create some kind of basic anatomy, some kind like this, just to have it as an like not a placeholder, as a orientation. Of course, he has other feet than a human being. They are more like claws or so. Um, yeah, but don't worry, you can build it from these feet as well. So place these as like placeholders right now. And uh, then you can rework these ones just to have something happening there. And for the feet, of course, he has no like um, uh, this part of the foot, uh, and you have to watch for either references or develop it on your own, like design on your own. So it's up to you how you do it. I think he has just 2 toes. And he has some claws like this. Um, mhm. Yeah, like I said, it's the most asked question. Uh, about the camera and how I pose like the reference or my character to the reference. Let me show you. Uh, Actually, I have a preset for my camera here. I built it from this uh, from this. I don't know why it's. I mean, I built it from this menu here, and it's a combination of this menu and this menu here. Okay, so I'm storing my view here in these buttons, and then I can always go back to my perspective I want. And of course, I can create cameras here, which are sometimes not working. I don't know why, but they are storing as well this background image there. Okay, so uh, these two techniques here, I'm combining them together. They are not perfect because this camera, like you saw here, the perspective is not stored. I don't know why. It's not perfect. I'm not I'm not a huge fan of this like of this tool, but I'm using it because it's still the only one, the only like working um, possibility in ZBrush to store your view. Of course, you can use the animation bar or whatever. There are many other techniques, but I'm using this one. But if you want a real tutorial, please watch my other streams I created. And there is one video where you can where you can watch me uh, using it, and I explained it on other streams already. So I don't want to repeat this thing over and over. I get asked, I don't know, 10 times a day how I do it, and yeah, I already have some videos. Please watch them. I know a foot like this doesn't work like this. Okay, I'm just placing it more like a placeholder. Of course, it doesn't look like this. I mean, it looks more like a foot of a cat or a bird should look like it. Um, for finalizing this foot or this character, I would uh, definitely watch for more references of a cat foot or bird or whatever. some kind like this. And of course, you need more references for the clothing when you want to create it like very realistic or so. I'm placing some folds here. Just to have a better idea what I'm creating here. Of course, I would like use loose cloth simulation or so for more complex clothing. Right now, I'm just fine with some like volume. Because this stage is still nothing near to like a final product. It's still more a uh, development. Okay. I think I'm already 2.5 hours in stream. Um, and I think as a base, it's already pretty good. Like this, you can hand it to your art director and ask for like feedback for proportions and this stuff. Maybe the hands could be a bit bigger. I think yes. I think they could be a bit bigger. But in general, like I said, you can hand it to your art director and ask for feedback. And if he says like, "Oh yes, this is exactly what I want or what the studio wants," you can develop it further and add more detail. I think I would create first the head so it works actually. Um, yeah, like more. I think he needs more, a bit more dynamic and some dynamic curves here and there, like this. Okay, and what I recommend is to make a pause to make something else. I mean to rest your eyes and come back with a fresh eye on this character, on your creation, and watch again for mistakes. And if this still looks like you want, like you need it, and then work further. Because when you're creating or when you're doing a break, then you and rest your eyes, then you have a fresh look on your creation. And yeah, I hope you had some fun. I hope you learned something about posing, about anatomy, and about proportions. And like I said last time, I will create a voting for what kind of character I should finish or make, like not finished. I don't know if I can finish it on stream, but because it takes, like, finishing takes a lot of time. But work further on some details and this stuff. And yeah, and maybe I created for the last three characters because I like them actually pretty, all of them, I mean. Um, I like them pretty much. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you on the next stream, which will be, I don't know. Thank you, Joao. Um, I hope to see you on the next stream. I think I don't know if I want to create my streams on Mondays and Thursdays, or Mondays on and Tuesdays. I don't know exactly. I have to figure out which day is better for you guys and for me. I mean, for you guys, so more people are watching or can watch my streams. I will figure out um, which day is better. And yeah, until then, have a nice one and thank you for participating. Bye.